What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Investors in SoFi never need to go to Disney or Universal because hell, this is like a crazy roller coaster in among itself. So I want to give you an overview of what is really causing all of this, go over some of the data points and plus some of the latest rumors. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So right now it is down 0.2 or 0.35%, had a low of 707 and 738 as the high, and 27.2 million shares being traded. 44.7 is the average. No official news from SoFi, no SEC filings, so it has just been more so at the mercy of the broader market. And plus, a lot of the volume being done today is algorithmic trading versus big money getting in, so only 2 transactions above $100,000. So AI is just piggybacking off of what's been coming out. So this morning SoFi pre-market was up like 1%. I did that and covered it in my pre-market video, but obviously I don't think anyone could have anticipated what was going to come out. So Williams, if data calls for higher rates, Fed would hike. This is definitely not what the market wanted to hear, so this is what prompted a market sell-off right here, and then vice versa. You had this come out right after, probably damage control essentially, but there is now a likelihood that there's going to be rate cuts in September. The market, or I guess consensus right here, people don't seem to believe that because it did go up from about 35 to 45%, but still people do not believe that there's going to be any substantial rate cuts, especially by the cited September meeting. November seems to be a little bit, obviously small percentages, but still no real massive kind of outlier right here that it does show anything. Same with December. So I think at this stage in the game, just people have to accept that there might not be any rate cuts. And based on the price action that's been happening over all of this right here, you can tell just the market is crying out for rate cuts. This is exactly what it wants. So let me know your thoughts on that. I think by this stage in the game, you do see shorts starting to increase their position, and as well at the same time, probably the market is starting to realize that, you know what, maybe there might not be any in September. So it's just a crazy roller coaster, and like I said, a lot of this volume being done today is just algorithmic trading. So this is why you're seeing a lot of crazy swings in the broader market today. And so when it comes down to shorts, you do see them just completely increasing their position, and that obviously coincided with this right here. So as it stands, shorts are increasing about 958,000 shares. 17.46% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 173.29 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of borrow average is 0.91%, and then utilization is 72.44%. So pretty crazy stuff when it comes down to that, and it would be really nice for SoFi for their upcoming earnings to address this. So I was kind of popping over to Reddit just to see about that whole 𝗖𝗓 screenshot, because that was there, obviously just a rumor. SoFi never really acknowledged it, but that screenshot has been deleted, that post. So was that just made up? Was that real? Like, I feel like just there's a lot of things that investors want to know, and that would be a very big deal for SoFi in reality. So was that a leak or just, I don't know. So hopefully during their upcoming earnings, they do bring this up. Normally, I think Chris is pretty good at least addressing what might be coming down the pipeline, unless this is something that they can't really kind of talk on, similar to that mortgage broker scenario when they did acknowledge that they were buying it, but during the next earnings they didn't really talk on the price. So I think that was more of a gray area, but still, no matter what, I think the market really wants SoFi to continue to innovate and maybe just add on to their portfolio. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. Up until then, shorts are just going to have their time in the sun, and so far I have not really felt any FOMO kicking in with SoFi. Normally that does happen by now, especially leading into their earnings, but we'll just have to wait and see. I have also been monitoring to see if analysts have been doing any changes for their estimates, and still absolutely nothing other than what I did previously bring up. Looking at options though, $2.88 million in calls, 1.21 million in puts. Sentiment wise, a little bit more optimistic, but no doubtably that's just shorts hedging their bets. And I did say in my pre-market video this morning, as well as my video yesterday, just you are going to see a push down probably tomorrow for SoFi to be below $7, which is kind of crazy to think of because their earnings is right around the corner, and no doubtably they're going to have like phenomenal growth, like a triple beat once again, no different than the last was 8 earnings or something like that. It is getting somewhat discouraging, especially I think a lot of people have a lot of high expectations with SoFi. Just the market is very touchy right now. But what I mean by obviously it being pushed down and suppressed below $7, it's in correlation with the options. So you do see roughly about 72,000 in open interest at the 8, 30,000 at the 750, 13,000 at the 7. So the $7 strike price isn't all that strong right now, but it has been really increasing. So I believe yesterday was 10, the day before it was 7. So there is that wall being kind of built essentially at that $7 mark. So if history does repeat itself, you are going to see SoFi kind of being suppressed below that. So I think it's all just happening as one. And like I've said in the past, clearly market makers and shorts probably are one and the same. So this is why you are seeing more of an increase and more of the foundation being laid down for SoFi to be completely hammered tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the dark pool though, you do see it very, very popular as usual, and that is linked to shorting. So these are all the transactions that have occurred. And so yeah, this is where big money is hiding a lot of their transactions, substantial transactions in fact. So many over 1 million right there. And yeah, so interesting stuff. Moving on to technicals. So with it closing, or right now, I guess we're 30 minutes left for the trading day, 716 right now. So it is trading between this S2 and this S1. Definitely need to watch this 713 for it to hold going into the rest of the day as well as tomorrow, because if that does fail to really hold, then yeah, you are going to have it trade within this range. And then obviously shorts will have an easy time just pushing it below $7. So right now, the next strong resistance point and target that you'll want to watch for SoFi to stay above is this S1, so $7.28. But aside from all of that though, looking on the actual chart, it did transition or want to transition from the lower to the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. But like I said, just not really enough for it to stay there or justified for it to stay there. You do see stochastic very oversold. So at least that's kind of a positive thing that could really help SoFi in the next couple of days or potentially rolling over into next week. You don't see any defined trend though, so there's not any deviation or whatever. Looking at the momentum indicator, shows number of retail investors have been somewhat stagnant, not really selling, not really buying. I think they're just, everyone's waiting for the crazy FOMO that normally does happen to kick in, and hopefully for it to finally break above this 750. I don't know why SoFi always does struggle, but I do get it though. It's trying to be innovative in one of the oldest sectors, but at the same time, you do see a lot of other crap stocks in the broader market just spiking like crazy based off of many of which like have no news coming out. So why can't SoFi just be one of those stocks that has no news, that doesn't put anything out, but it just skyrockets like 100%? I don't know. It's just one of those weird circumstances. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Do you think going into tomorrow you're going to see it suppressed below 7? Or do you think it's going to stay kind of within this range or possibly above this S1 right here that I did bring up? So what's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And just briefly to pick your guys' brains, what is your thoughts on 𝗖𝗓? Do you think that is going to result in something or not? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.